All right, all right. Good morning, everyone. Happy, what do we do? It's Wednesday. Let's do this today. Where am I at here? Here we go. All right, here we go. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Yusuf. Good morning to everyone. Let's do this live. All right. So we had a CPI print. Not as crazy as I thought it would be. I tried a short up here and didn't get the move that I was looking for, so walked out of that short with break even or very minimal there. But I did trade last night pretty hard. It was moving, so I'm coming in with some nice green from the overnight session. But guess what? We're back to this 800 to 23,000 range that I've been talking about now for, I don't know, 3 weeks. The bulls, the bears have been unable to get us out of here. The bulls pushed through NVIDIA. I mentioned yesterday, I'm not convinced with that NVIDIA push that happened overnight. And yep, we came right back down. We had to repair all that. And we're back to 23,000. Anytime you see all-time high set during the overnight session, you can't trust it. There's got to be some type of pullback there to create the proper market structure. And long and behold, we came back pretty hard. And I think we tested the 900 levels last night, right? Yep, down here. Last night I did get some trades in. Here we go. This was my last trade. Got a nice little, I think that was 40 points on that overnight session last night. So nicely in the green so far. Let's see if we can add to the win. I don't want to give up too much of the profit, but I'm willing to entertain a little bit more. Why not? Otherwise, if it starts going sour and not my way, then I'll call it early. But good morning to everyone. Thanks for tuning in. As far as what are we looking for here today? What are we looking for here today? Good question. 22,800 to 23,000. This is the range I've been talking about for 3 weeks. Can't get out of that. We tried with NVIDIA, with the NVIDIA news yesterday, but that happened during the overnight. That all-time high was set during the overnight. And like I said, anytime you have all-time high set during the overnight, be very cautious about it. I don't trust it, and we have to take a pullback. So now we're setting up for proper market structure. If we're going to go after that all-time high again today, now you're setting it up for the proper market structure to go up. Question is, will there be a pullback? Are we just going to rally at the open? It's going to be a tricky trade. We're hovering around the overnight high. We just set the overnight high with that CPI print. And let's see what we get. Bulls obviously want to get us out of this range, the 800 to 23,000 that we've been in there for 3 weeks. Now that the flush has occurred and we've wiped out pretty much all of the NVIDIA move from last night, not last night, the night prior, now you're setting it up for proper market structure to the upside if that's how it's going to play out. The trick is, are we going to get some type of pullback first and then the run? Or we're close to a pivot point. Where are we? Pivot point's at, let's say, 23,090. Call it the 23,100 area. Are we going to hover around here and come right back down? Going to be tricky. May have to be a little patient today to figure out direction. How much time do we have? We have 5 minutes. Let me set my alarm for the 15-minute opening range. I'm sorry, it was PPI today, right? 626, 36, 46, 20 minutes. All right, I think we got that. So that is what I'm looking at in terms of pathing. What other news do we have today? I haven't even checked. All right, so we had PPI, then we have 9:15. We had already manufacturing, crude oil at 10:30. Crude oil, Fed bar speaks at 10 a.m. Ugh. Fed bar is speaking at 10 a.m. So I think that's it as far as news that we got to worry about is Fed bar speaking. We got a Fed speaker. So we had PPI this morning. Apparently, Mr. Powell's going to have some explaining to do. Where is inflation? So he's going to get grilled by Trump today on lowering rates. PPI was very interesting in terms of inflation. Why aren't we dropping rates? Let's see. Fed speaker. This is Arizona time. So these are three. That was at 9:15. So I guess he's speaking right now. And then we have Fed bar at 10 a.m. Crude oil inventories at 10:30. So I think we're pretty much in the clear other than Fed bar. Just monitor at 10 a.m. Anything crazy he says. Let's see. Anything else we should be concerned about? Not right now. 2 minutes to the open, and let's get ready to do this. Good morning, that other JC. How you doing, brother? So let's see what we get today. Coming in with a little bit of nice green from the overnight session. Don't want to give it all back. So I'll be patient today, see if we can capture a quick play in and out. If it gets nasty and I get caught up in drawdown, I just got to limit my losses so I don't give it all back. But let's see. And I'll be right back. 30 seconds. Coffee. I'll be right back. All right, we're ready. We're ready. Ready as ready can be. 10 seconds. Casino opens in 10 seconds. Win, lose, or draw. Let's do it. All right, casino's now open. Let's see what they got for today. All right, they're attempting to push above that 23,100. I suppose that's where they're going for, that pivot point up there at 23,100. PPI print was good in terms of where's inflation. So let's see if this is going to be the catalyst to move to the upside today. It'll be tricky. All right, here's that move to the downside. Are we going for the gap fill? It's an easy gap fill, not too far. All right, let's see if she touches that 200 SMA. All right, here comes the play to the 200 SMA, VWAP, gap close. You got a couple of areas down there. Let's see how low will she go before the bounce. Let's play that bounce. And not liking it, not liking it. There we go. Keep pushing. Not liking that bounce. All right, let's see if it needs to test the 200 again and then bounce again. Otherwise, I'll have to clip it. All right, this is the 200. If we don't get a bounce here, then I'll have to stop out. Struggling for that bounce. Struggling. Another touch of the 200. And if there's no bounce here, then I will have to clip it at this point. Just touched VWAP. And it's pushing right below VWAP. Not good. Come on, nasty NASDAQ. Give me the VWAP bounce. No bounce just yet. And no signs of a bounce. All right, so now if we do get some type of dead cat bounce here, I have to monitor the loss. In other words, if we're not going to get the full bounce, I may have to just clip it at a loss. Yeah, we touched the 90 EMA and we rejected. So I may have to accept this as a losing trade. I just want to see what happens at the 9, another touch of the 9. And probably clip it for a smaller loss. Now, if we push here, Where's the pivot point? 90. So it's struggling at the 9, and that's what I got to watch for. Probably limit this. It's not going to bounce here. It's a V recovery, I'll be fine, but struggling there at that 9. Testing 200 and VWAP one more time. If we flush here, then I gotta let it go. And looks like we are going to flush. Still wicking. It's wicking at VWAP. Unable to push with strength below VWAP, but it's only a matter of time before it breaks to the downside or we get the bounce. I'm not going to DCA here. That'll be a little too crazy. I'd rather just, if it flushes, then take the loss and look for another re-entry further down. So far, not promising in terms of bounce. But it's also in a 20-point consolidation, so it could go either way. See what it does here at the 9. If it pulls back again, then I'm in trouble. Big trouble. Ooh, it pulled back again. Oh, that 9 EMA. Been killing me lately. We're in trouble. We in trouble here. All right, let's see if we can get a push above that 9 and see how it behaves up there with some of those other moving averages. If it's just consolidation, then it's fine. It's just consolidation around the VWAP. But we do have to push above the 20 SMA pretty quickly. Otherwise, this is consolidation, bear consolidation to the downside, and my trade could be in serious trouble. So consolidation again. Unable to establish above VWAP and the 200. And they're pushing this down hard. All right, here we go. Can they position above the 9 EMA? All right, that's another rejection at the 9. That's no good for me. Now it's being rejected at the 20. VWAP is about to go. Let's see what happens here. This is my last bit of hope for a bounce. VWAP is attempting to hold, but they're starting to position below VWAP. That would be bad for me. All right, there's that wick. Is that the wick for the bounce, or is this done and we're going further down? And they recover it here? Or are they going for the pivot point at this point? All right, 15-minute opening range about to get established. Unable to bounce. All right, let's see another test of the 9. Is the 9 EMA going to kill me again today? It's been punishing me the last couple of days. 9 EMA is this blue line. If pricing can't establish above, so far it's come to the 9 EMA and rejected. We just can't position. No bulls today. At least not yet. Ugh. That was not a good candle. Good morning, Peter. Taking some heat here, buddy. The problem here is they've established pricing below VWAP, below the 200 SMA, even on higher time frames. We could be in for some serious down here, and I'm going to have to clip it at some point. Taking in some serious drawdown here. So let's see if there's any type of bounce, any relief bounce. Otherwise, I will be stuck. I'll be stuck taking a loss. We're at this 23,000 level. If 23,000 holds, then I'm good. If 23,000 fails, and now the bears are going to take this down to the overnight low, I'm in deep trouble, and I'll have to call it quits. If the bulls hold 23,000, then I had a poor entry trying to play the 200 SMA earlier. We're at the 9 EMA. Can they position above the 9 EMA, or is the 9 EMA going to continue to punish me today? Look at this. If you look at the 9, it's basically been a descending channel all the way down that I got caught in with bad positioning. The question is, how much drawdown will I allow before the bounce? It's a tough one. I don't know if I can allow any more than this area. Clip it and then attempt a long somewhere down here. If they can position and get out of this channel, I'll be okay, or probably negotiate a loss up here. If they flush from the 9, which they've done every single time, then I'm in deep trouble. This is the, this was horrible timing. Got caught right into a descending channel on my entry. Not good. Not good. So it's all going to depend on 23,000. If the bulls want to defend 23,000, I'll survive or have to close somewhere up here. If the bears are going to be relentless and will not allow the bulls to recover on 23,000, then I'm in trouble and I have to negotiate a loss finally down here somewhere. If this descending channel continues to hold, which it has so far, not good for me. I'm going to have to close and wait for an entry somewhere down here if I want to attempt another long. If they can pop out, not in the green yet, I may have to recover I may have to settle for a smaller loss. Horrible timing on the entry. I came in bull biased based on PPI, and that's what the market does. Everyone's bull biased based on that PPI print. Doesn't necessarily mean the market will go up right off the bat. And I'm paying for that right now. So it came and tested the 200, failed again. Now you got the 200 and the 20 SMA providing resistance here. I'm in trouble. I'm in trouble. Yep, that channel is holding. The bears are going to be relentless on this. And I'm in some trouble here. So, unfortunate. And there's a pivot point at 965. I'm not going to take drawdown all the way down to 965. I'll have to clip it and re-enter further down there. Oof. Oof, 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 oof. Ooh, 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 ooh. $23,000 is not holding. It's not holding. The bears want this below that. God damn it. They flushed below. Shit. Shit. All right. Time to accept I'm wrong. Goodness gracious. Great balls of fire. This is the make or break level. If this channel doesn't hold here, well, I've been screwed for some time now. Goodness gracious, great balls of fire. Oh boy. Came down to the pivot point. And that's the area for the bounce. If it doesn't bounce there, then I'm not going to DCA. It's pretty bad of a loss already. I can't give it more. Bad timing today. Refusing to accept the loss. It's happening live. You're watching Tilt. This is Tilt. This is when you refuse to accept the loss. All right, so we had a full pivot point to pivot point flush. Brutal. At this point, I'm not even thinking about recovering the loss or breaking even. It's, can we get a bounce? All right, I'm letting this whole flush go. Can we get a bounce where I can close at 50% or something? But if this is a falling knife and there's no relief, I'll have to take it in the chin and take a pretty big loss. I won't DCA. That would be a lot of damage. I mean, this is already significant damage. DCA would be even worse. Sure, I can get lucky and probably break even at 50%, but I'm already pushing these. These are 150Ks. I'm already pushing them pretty hard. And the bears are relentless right now. They're not giving me an out. They're not giving me an out. Dustin Sharp, bro, why no stop? Good question, buddy. Bad habits, and you pay for them. But I'm doing it live. I said I'm gonna give you guys the good, the bad, and the ugly. Today we're watching the ugly. All right, pivot point held. Took a lot of drawdown to that pivot point, but let's see if it really holds or if they're gonna flush this further. If they're going to flush this further, then it's time to call it. Time to call it quits. Oof, oh. They're really wrecking me today, huh? Here comes the flush below that pivot point. And at that point, they're going after overnight low. Wow. And no salvation here for me. No bounce. Just wrecked anybody who came in with bullish sentiment on that PPI print. Unfreaking believable, NASDAQ. All right, let's see if there's any type of bounce here. Try to negotiate a smaller loss. If we continue to flush down, then it is what it is. I'll have to call it a day with some really bad decisions today. Bears punishing. Finally, they're punishing. Dustin, I appreciate you. Yeah, you're watching Tilt. You're watching Tilt in action right now, refusing to take a loss, and it's costing me. It's not the market, it's the trader. That pivot point is not holding. It's not good. Well, it's at a pivot point. But it's not giving us the strong pivot point bounce that we're used to seeing. So if they're going to flush it below this and punish the bullish sentiment on that PPI print even further, oh, I'm dead. I'm dead with a big loss. $9.60 has to hold. Otherwise, it's going downhill. God damn it. You're really doing another leg down, huh? Wow. No bounce. No bounce at that pivot point. And this will be brutal because that would be a pivot point to pivot point flush. And if they want more, it's a falling knife. I've been punished by this 9 EMA all week. They can't position above that 9. Unfreaking believable. Oh boy, oh boy. Great balls of fire. Bears are punishing. Bears are punishing today. See if they can position above that. Well, first of all, they got to get past the 9, and let's see if they can position above the 20. And let's see if we can manage less of a loss. If they flush below this, then I'm toast. What I won't do is DCA. DCA, although it can save me to break even, I'm taking some pretty big heat already. With this flush down, I'd probably be causing some serious damage to the accounts, more than I already am. Let's wait for a bounce and see how high it goes, if there's a bounce, and negotiate a smaller loss. But I think at this point, this trade's a loss. Just can't get this bounce. You just can't get above the 9 and the 20. The 9 and the 20 are being brutal in terms of resistance today. Bears are in control. No question about it. No question. Bad decisions today. Horrible decisions today. And this descending channel is punishing me to death today. Unless we break out of it, killing me. Killing me. See if they can position above that 20. They're touching it again. But they need to push above that. Otherwise, it's just a dead cat bounce and the bears want more. If they're going to do it dirty, then they'll flush it from there hard, using the 20 and the 9 as the rejection point. Otherwise, this is wishful thinking, and the bears have more downside today. Bad decisions. Can't position above the 20 at all. Oof. Ooh. Dead cat bounce. Oh my god. Unfreaking. That 5-minute looks scary. Those wicks on the 5-minute to the upside look scary. Wow. That is some scary wicking. Bears in full control. Unbelievable. Now they've positioned below the pivot point. God damn it. You're just not going to bounce, are you? Pivot point needs to hold. Oh boy. Battling a falling knife here. That 9 EMA, every touch of that 9 EMA is a rejection. Swear to God, I'm gonna have nightmares with the 9 EMA for the next month. We try to position above the 20, but every time they have, it's been rejected with a strong wick. If they push and recover 23,000, then at that point, I'm just trying to see how I can minimize this loss. I don't think I have any hopes of break even. That if we even get a bounce, 200 SMA would be the next resistance area. That's where VWAP is at. But they've been struggling. Bears are in control today, no question about it. You're just seeing tilt and the refusal to accept the loss, which happens in trading. Well, I'm being transparent about it, not hiding it. I know I've made some bad decisions today. We're relying on this pivot point bounce. Question is how far and how strong that bounce will be. But no matter how you look at it, that was a pivot point to pivot point flush, and I absorbed it. Horrible trading, guys. Horrible trading. That's a lesson in what not to do. But it's part of trading. It's the refusal to accept the loss. I'm glad I didn't DCA this. Let's see what happens. We're testing the bottom of that 50-minute opening range. So far, every attempt at a bounce has been a dead cat bounce. If they bring this down again here, then might as well shut it all down and run for the hills. And take the loss for being silly. But you're watching it live. Tilt in action. This is tilt. This is refusal to accept the loss. So obviously anyone who is bull biased wants some relief. So they're trying to push this as much as they can. Bears are not interested in allowing the bulls out. Am I going to get an out here? Is the question. That doesn't mean the bulls will get a clean out if they FOMO'd in on this PPI positive news to the upside. Now it's negotiating, trying to figure out how high this bounce will be before they pull it back down. And will I close at a smaller loss or take the drawdown all the way back down? Ay, 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 ay. And you always say you'll never do it again. You'll never do it again. And You fall into these traps. But it's good. It's part of the journey. It's part of the journey. We are going to come up to 200 SMA and VWAP at 10. That's 23,010. So right around here will be the make or break for the bulls. If the bulls can conquer the VWAP and the 200 SMA, then there's potential move or recovery on this. If they reject there and the bears just, that's all they're going to allow in terms of relief for anybody trapped like me, like I am up here, then they'll flush it right back down. We'll see. So they attempted to hit the 200 SMA and did not even get close. Rejected pretty quick. Not looking like a strong bounce to me. Brutal. Brutal today. Pivot point to pivot point flush. Haven't seen that in a while. At least that quick. If the bears are going to do it dirty, they're going to flush it right here. Bring it all the way down to the next level. If they don't want to allow any relief to the bulls and let them out, then they're just going to kill it right here. Ooh, that 5-minute wick. No. Oh my God, that 5-minute wick is nasty. Oh. Look at that 5-minute. Jesus Christ. Oh boy. Here comes the test of that pivot point again. If this is a test and a bounce, then we're good. If this is a flush, it's over. At least for me. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Come on, NASDAQ. Can you give me a $500 loss? Maybe even 1,000 at this point. They're trying to use that pivot point as the bounce, but not impressive. Not impressive. Looks like the bears want another leg down, which at that point, gonna have to run for the hills. Slap myself silly a couple times for fallen into this trap. All right, that's looking like a more promising bounce now on the 5-minute from that pivot point. Nope, not really. Not really. Well, you're seeing Tilt live. This is the refusal to accept the loss. Not closing it, even if you have a mental stop, not closing it where your mental stop's at. And paying hard, paying dearly today for that. So far, it's been a dead cat bounce on that pivot point. If we do get all the way up to the 200 SMA and VWAP, the question is that it? What are we looking at here in terms of fib levels? Let's see. Let's see where we're at. So 50% recovery would put us here. Can we get to 50%? That's where VWAP is at. Or is it all wishful thinking and this thing is just going further down today? Oh, unbelievable. Silly, silly mistakes. Now to be 2 attempts to get over 23,000, and so far they're both failing. They attempted 23,000 here, attempted here, and failed again. It's not looking good. Not looking good. And if they are going to bounce it, they're not making it easy. All right, so how much drawdown did I take there? That was close to... I'm going to take a look at my 30% drawdown on Apex. If I close at a loss, I'm good, but if I close positive, I have to figure out how much drawdown I took so that I'm at least at 5 to 1. minus 22,949. Okay, 7 points. So if I'm going to close in the green, I got to capture at least 25 points to be within the rules. If I close in the red, I'm good. The challenge would be closing in the green to not ruin the payout period. I'd have to close at a minimum of 5-1 in the green to be within Apex rules. My equity on these accounts is fine. In other words, I'm still within the 30% consistency rule based on profit balance. That's fine. The issue here is the 30% per trade rule. If I close in the red, I'm good. Apex doesn't mind for you closing in the red, but if I close in the green, I have to have a minimum of 5-1 now. That's going to be the tricky part. If we even get there, right? So far, we just hit VWAP and we reject it again. All right, VWAP there. No cigar. Ram, good morning, sir. Welcome to the stream. Struggling at VWAP. That other JC, good morning, sir. Yeah, everything's not going my way. Everything in terms of overshooting to the upside, not happening. VWAP could get overshot, but it's just not happening today. Today's bears are clearly in control. Any little move by the bulls is tiny at the best. They're close to recovering at 50%. But it's been staircased. That could fall apart pretty quickly. Julio is down 1K, brother. I'm down 1,500 right now. And refusing to take the loss, which is even worse. If they reject that VWAP and the 200 at this point and they flush it down, well, you guys can count me toast today. If they're able to position above, there might be a chance to capturing a smaller loss on this trade. Might be. Bears are definitely, no question about it, in control today. They've been brutal. If you were bull biased on that PPI print, you got punished hard. Technically, the market should be rallying based on the news on PPI. No inflation. What does the market do? It crashes. Oh. They're trying. They're trying. Today was a tough one. Clearly, you guys can tell that I was bull biased based on that PPI print. And I'm sure a lot of people were bull biased. That's why it's punishing this hard. PPI print was positive in the sense that where is inflation? So that's going to put a lot of pressure on Mr. Powell. Why aren't you dropping interest rates? I'm sure Trump will be barking at him today. But let's see if this was just the manipulation or the trap to trap some bulls like I just got trapped, and eventually the play to the upside happens. If the bears are just going to take their day today and have a win, then, you know, they'll flush this right here at VWAP in the 200. And I'm looking at a $2,000 loss today across everything. If we do pump above that 200 SMA, which is the red line, then I got to make some decisions. Close in the red, or because of Apex rules, the 30% rule, you got a 5-to-1 minimum, 30% per trade rule. I would have to close at minimum 5-to-1 to be within payout guidelines. 30% by account balance, I'm fine. These accounts have a lot of equity built. And the ones that are copy traded don't even have that rule. They're at 50% consistency rule, so I'm not worried about the other ones. Apex PAs are the ones I'm worried about in terms of their consistency rule. 30% per balance, I'm not worried about. I'm fine in that sense. It's the 30% per trade where it would have to be a minimum 5-to-1. So I may have to get sneaky and close it somewhere around here, or hold for a 25-point minimum close on positive. Where's the 200 SMA on the 5-minute? That would be 52. All right, there's the touch of the 200. Maybe the PPI news is now, that was the flush to trap all the early bulls, and then finally we get the play that I was looking for at the beginning. Oh, yeah. All right, so now we just hit the 200 SMA on higher time frames and the 1 minute. Let's see how it behaves there. The 5 minute still has room for a little more upside, unless they just take it down. Testing VWAP now, so now it's a battle between VWAP and the 200. I like your thinking, that other JC. You're right. It did overshoot VWAP. The problem is on the 5 minute, it just hit 20 SMA resistance, but it didn't reject as strong as it could have. Who knows? Who knows? This could have been just the flush to trap all the early bulls like me, and the true move that the bulls are looking for on that PPI newsprint plays out. struggling at that 200. She's a struggling. Does it have strength for 52? 52 is where it's going to find the true resistance area. But we may not even get up there to 52. How far is this recovery so far in terms of fib levels? We're at the 50% mark. So expect a harsher pullback there before another bounce. Okay. There is some hope, right? And it's hope at this point. This is not good trading. Twenty SMA held. Wow. I thought that was going to be a break to the downside. Or at least for now it held. Let's see if it truly holds. Well, there's the break that I was talking about. All right, so we're going to take a VWAP flush here. The question is how far? Is it going to negate the whole move to the upside? Or are we going to hold here? If bears do it dirty, they'll flush it hard and punish the bulls that are playing hopium like me right now. Ay, 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 ay. Look at that 9 EMA, just not allowing it to go above the 9. Unbelievable. All right, they're trying VWAP again. They're trying to position above VWAP one more time. I'll be right back, guys. Today, out here in Arizona, kids start school pretty early, and today's the first day for my son going back to school. So hopefully while I say goodbye, the market doesn't crash. If it does crash, blink twice so I know to come back and close this, all right? All right, we back. How's my hopium trade? Is hopium in my favor or no? Ooh, no, it's not. It's rejecting the VWAP. It's rejecting. Bulls are struggling at 23,000, huh? Bears don't want to give up 23,000 today. Oh boy. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. All right. They're positioning now above VWAP. Can they get above the 20 SMA on the 5-minute? You got 200 SMA here on the 1-minute. Nope. Julio, yeah, man. Today. If you got some red today, you know, sometimes it's best just to chill out, walk away. Or if you're in a bad trade, either clip it. Oof, oof. Bears are gonna do it dirty. They're gonna flush it all the way back down. Unforgiving Bears. Not letting the Bulls out. So 23,000 may be the level today that the Bulls just can't conquer. Crazy. If you're just tuning in, you're seeing a tilt day live. The refusal to take a loss. But not hiding it. It's part of trading. Being as transparent as I can here on this live stream. Wow, Bears are picking it up again here. Not good, not good. Julio, you're on tilt. It happens, brother. It happens. And you go back and you say, I'll never do it again. I'll never do it again. This is the last time I'll do something like this. Unfortunately, it keeps happening. You just got to widen the times that they do. The wider those tilt days happen, the better. And hopefully you can extend and extend and extend them. They're going to happen. Shaw a Jim, you've been on tilt mode all morning and 2 evals gone. Man, sorry to hear. But, you know, if it serves as a little bit of relief, you're not the only one. You're seeing my tilt live. It's part of trading. It's something we all work on. Toughest part is accepting the loss. I could have taken a 20-point stop on this, 30-point stop. Man, at this point, even 40-point stop. And still wouldn't take the loss. Your mind, our brains, especially based on your personality, you refuse to lose, right? That's why we're successful in other areas of what we do, in business and your career. You're a winner. We're winners. Our minds are designed as winners. And loss or losing is not part of our DNA. And then trading, you got to work on that. You got to be able to take the little paper cuts. And I was doing fine on the live stream for a couple weeks with paper cuts, and then playing a trade to recover or something along the lines. It's that one day that you don't, boom. It's that one day that you don't, and you don't control it, that you can have something as serious as this. Yes, I have 150Ks. Yes, my PAs have some equity, but there is no reason to go this brutal on a pullback. It is what it is. I'm not going to beat myself up for it. Something you work on. Something you work on. They're battling that VWAP. They're going back and forth. I don't know if the bulls are going to get their out. The bulls want their out. The bulls will get their out if they position above VWAP. The bears don't want to let the bulls out. When I say don't let them out, let the trap bulls, right? There's a lot of trap bulls, including myself up here. So those bulls, we want pricing to be above VWAP to either recover, break even, or come to a smaller loss. Bears don't want to let the bulls out. They want to trap and continue down. VWAP will be the deciding factor. If they position above VWAP, then there's a chance. If the pairs are going to do it dirty and trap us, then they'll flush right here, right back down. Bulls are pushing. Bulls want out. Bulls want some relief out of this and possibly continue the move at this point. But 23,000 seems to be the area that is contested right now. Is the day going to close above 23,000, or are the bears going to win this and take it below 23,000? Either way, it's stair-stepping. This is a clear example of some pretty bad trading, bad decisions, bad risk management. I didn't DCA. I'll give myself credit for that. But even if this is a break-even trade, or I walk out with some green, bad decisions. $200 SMA, again, providing that resistance. How many times are they going to tap the 200 before they flush to the downside or break to the upside? That's the battle right now. That's the battle. Struggling. They're not able to position above 23,000 with confidence. Stair stepping it there. That 200, man. Big wall of China right there. Look at that. All right, now they're positioning above. If I'm going to allow closing at a win, I have to do, what was the math I just did? I got to be within Apex's 30% rule per trade. So let's manage this a little bit. 948. Six. Six. So in order to be eligible or not break Apex rules, I would have to close at 22 points. 56, 76, 77, 78, call it 79, 79. So I'll have to make decisions. If they're truly going to recover this, I'll have to make decisions, either close slightly into red and play the sneaky move on Apex, or play a minimum of 22 points to be within the 5-to-1 with Apex. Correct, yes. So take a small loss. JC, that's what I'm deciding right now. Take a small loss so I'm not affected by the 5-to-1. Apex doesn't care if you take the loss. It's if you take the win, it has to be a minimum of 5-to-1. Yep. So I got decisions. I can get sneaky. I mean, assuming we get up there, right? We still have to get up there. I can get sneaky and take a smaller loss up here. Or if they're truly going to push this, if I'm going to decide to go positive, I have to take 22 points. Otherwise, I screw up this payout, period. Doesn't mean I screw up the account. Just means I'm going to get denied. Peter, no, it's per trade. So your per trade has to be 5-to-1. You can't take a trade. You can't take $3,000 in drawdown and make $200 on a trade. You can't. They'll deny it. Ooh, what happened there? That was not good. That was no bueno. That was a bad rejection. Something just happened. News drop or something. Did we just get a news drop? That was not good. That's a news drop. Something's going on. Does anybody know if there's a news drop going on right now? All right, something just happened. What just happened? Equities. All right, just a flush to scare out some bulls. All right, that was a stop hunt run, hopefully. Hopefully. Man, this is some nasty price action today. All right, that was just the bears being nasty. Whatever it is, bulls just can't bounce today, man. They just can't bounce. Unbelievable. That was a nasty wick. Was that the liquidity sweep for finally the play to the upside? That was a nasty wick. That's some wild price action right there. That was a nasty homeless candle right there. And the bulls recover from that nasty candle. God damn it. Bears punishing, man. They're not letting the bulls out today. They're just not. Wow. Well, bad decisions will compound. On that bad day, look at this. Unfreaking believable. Wow. Oh boy. Oh, is that what it is? Yeah, I mean, Powell's going to be under the gun today because of inflation, right? He's not dropping the rates, and there's no inflation. This is why I'm so bull biased today. The PPI report today questions the whole inflation, right? Where is inflation? According to PPI report, we're good. So why hasn't Powell dropped the interest rates? And like I said, Trump is going to use that today. What are you doing, Mr. Powell? And Powell's going to try to defend himself. Well, we can't drop the rates that fast. This is just the first positive news. That was nasty. was a 30 point. No, that wasn't 30 points. That was 90 points, right? This was a 100-point candle. Jesus Christ. 30. 60 points, sorry. That was nasty. Bears are just not allowing 23,000 for the bulls. Peter Chan, the magic word, if. If. We're on hopium right now. Now, if that was the liquidity sweep for the bulls to finally push this up, then yeah, we're good. If the bears are just unrelentless in their selling pressure, I may have to finally accept the loss. All right, so they flushed it down back to the pivot point in one candle. They brought it back to the VWAP. And it's a battle. It's a brutal battle for 23,000. If the bears are going to flush this, they're going after 800, 700 today. Bulls want to keep this above 23,000. And I'm stuck in the middle, holding on to dear life, trading like an idiot. But I'm doing it transparent. This is a tilt day. Refusing to take a loss. Fortunately, I didn't DCA and go too crazy. At this point, I'm playing the fact that bulls want to reconquer 23,000. But that doesn't mean anything. All right, that 200 SMA clearly becoming resistance. We took a brutal flush on this last touch. However, bulls did recover it pretty quickly. It's just a matter of how many touches are we going to get for an eventual break, or rest in peace, bears, flush it. But that's that 23,000 level. They can't seem to position with strong closes above. So far, it's been wiki. Look at that 15-minute. Brutal. Look at the 15-minute candles. Look at those wicks. All right, here goes another attempt at the 200. That's a pop. That could be good. Don't reject there. Don't reject. Look at that 200. The day I need the moving averages to exaggerate moving averages, they play these moving averages to a T. Like literally, comes and touches the 200 and rejects. 200 rejects. 200 rejects. When you want the exaggerated plays, you're not in a trade. Playing that 200 to the T. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Here we go. She's looking to pop. Can she pop above that 200? Looking to pop it above 27. But it's rejected every single time so far. Where's that 60 point candle to the upside that we all want right now? We got a freaking 60 point candle to the downside. Why can't we get one to the upside? Well, if you're enjoying the transparency on this tilt day, do me a favor. Smash that like, smash that subscribe, hit that notification bell so that you get notified when I post content. And we're right back in this opium trade with bad decisions, and you're seeing tilt live today. At 200 being brutal. $200 SMA not being nice today. Bulls unable to keep 23,000 alive. They need to explode. Otherwise, it's just a matter of time before the Bears flush this one more time. Explode. Go to the moon. Rocket ship. Look at that 200. To the T. They just can't push above the 200. Now, if they break above the 200, we're good. They're teasing it. What's going to happen? Look at the 5 minute. Look at the 15 minute. That is some sick price action. $200 is the big wall of China right now. Multiple attempts. Look at all the wicks on the 15 minute. Look at all the wicks on the 5 minute. Just, they can't. Which way is it gonna go? We going up or we crashing? I don't know. I don't know. Look at that. At 200, it's like the wall of China. It's like every bear is right there saying nope. All right, they popped. Nope. They can't. Unfreaking believable. Wow. All right, looks like they're popping out. And they get out of the range. And they get out of here. The bulls want out. Are the bears going to let the bulls out? Nope. The bulls want out. Will the bears let them out of that range? This is the range that I've been talking about for 2.5 weeks. Will the bears let them out? Or is this as high as we go? And that's your out. Could be. Look how crazy these levels are. They're to the T. It's like exactly where resistance happens. All right, they're popping it out of that box. And they continue. And they explode. Can we get a ripper here now? Peter Chan, nicely played. All right, here we go. Can they continue the push up? We're going to hit a little bit of resistance here. This is the level that I had initially tried to long. That 47.50 area is resistance. Or will they push straight through that? Let's find it. Probably going to need to test that 20 and the 90 EMA again. Whoa! Now what? Jesus, just can't win today. You just can't win. Unfreaking believable. Just can't. You gotta be kidding me. It's like, how many of these, that was a 70-point flush. They're not letting the bulls out. There's a lot of trap bull. Anytime you see this, there's a lot of bull sentiment coming in from PPI. There's a lot of trap bulls up there, and they're punishing us. It's over. God damn it. What was that? You gotta be freaking kidding me. Was that Powell just got fired? Does anybody know if Powell just got fired? If Powell just got fired, then this shit is crashing. All right, I'm assuming that Powell just got fired. That is a brutal candle. No, I'm not seeing anything on this. Not seeing any news, to be honest with you. Unbelievable. What the hell was that? Like I said, bears are not letting these bulls out today. They're going to make them punish. They're going to punish them. They want more pain. And I'm one of them. One of these bulls stuck in a horrible, horrible trap. What the fuck was that? Sorry. Just flush to the pivot point on one candle. Unbelievable. That was at least 80, 90 point candle, right? All right, bears are taking over, and they did it dirty. They did it dirty. All right, guys. I'm going to end the misery, the pain. Shit's over. Dustin, yeah. So this one will be tough. Um, Bad decisions, compounded over time. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. They flushed it in one candle to the overnight low. I mean, you just can't make this up. You can't. All right, guys, it is time to end this misery. Unfortunately, bears have punished me brutally. Wrecked. Wrecked. I mean, wrecked. That'll set me back a couple of weeks. Trying to see what the hell is this news about. Oh, it is. Trump is likely to fire Powell soon. Yeah, tomorrow's another day, and that's what it was. The drop was Powell. 8:16 a.m. Arizona. Trump is likely to fire Powell soon. Shit. Question is that a knee-jerk reaction, or is Trump now calling his buddies? Let's rally. Let's make sure the market doesn't care about Powell. And let's end his misery too. All right, let's see what happens now. I mean, how much worse can it get at this point? Let's see if Trump is going to allow the Powell news to crash the market. Freaking unbelievable. Tilt to the extreme today. Yeah, Julio, this Powell news just screwed me up even worse. Unbelievable. Well, I said it was going to be raw. You're going to see the emotions and the bad decisions, the good decisions. Today is bad decision on top of bad decision on top of bad decision. Yep. And I had an out too. I can't complain. The market gave me an out here for like $500 loss, and I still didn't take it. Wasn't expecting Mr. Powell to get fired, but it's not an excuse. It's horrible trading. Well, let's see if it's a knee-jerk reaction. I'm assuming Trump doesn't want the market to crash just because he fires Powell, so he's probably making some calls to his tech buddies. And let's see if Trump responds and makes the market rally, firing Powell. That's what he wants. He wants to show. NASDAQ down 0.2%, S&P down the same, Dow Jones down, or Russell is up. All right, they're at the pivot point. Let's see if they can push this back up on the pivot point, and it's just a knee-jerk reaction to the news. Otherwise, the pivot point can be resistance now, and we flush even further. Yeah, Peter, we are programmed not to lose, especially type A personalities. You just don't want to lose. You don't want to take a loss. And for me, that happens especially when I don't enter a trade with a stop. If you have a stop, then it'll get hit and you take the loss. But not having to stop triggers that mentality, and I know that it's something that obviously still have to work on. Having a stop controls your refusal to lose, as long as you don't move it. When you don't have a stop, then you start, well, this level. And you can, actually, I think you heard it on live stream, well, I'm going to give this level the last chance. I'm going to give this level the last chance for the bounce. And you keep telling yourself, and you keep taking a loss. The good thing is I didn't DCA. I probably would have blown my accounts had I DCA'd and held that long. That would have been a 52 down to, that's 50 points below the low. Oh yeah, definitely. Had I had 2 or 3 contracts, I would have blown my PAs. At least I didn't do that. I've learned the hard way over the years not to do that. So, what I have to work on, and gotten better, but clearly today was not a case, to have a stop at all times so you don't get into that excuse mode. You make excuses for your drawdown. Well, the next level, they're going to bounce at that level. They don't bounce it here, they're going to bounce it there. Similar to what you're hearing right now. Well, maybe it's just a knee-jerk reaction to Powell getting fired and the market will rally right after that. You start making excuses. Granted, you might pull it off, but it's not good trading. Today's not an example of good trading. Today's a good example to journal for myself. Reflect on this. Do you really need to take this amount of drawdown and really punish your funded accounts? Because I am copy trading funded accounts today. Like this? The answer is no. Oh, God damn it. Look at this thing. Just comes to the pivot point and rejects. I think what Trump is saying, Manny, is I don't think he can get fired, but if Congress gets involved, they can oust him. That's why Trump is reaching out to Congress about firing Powell. Look at these brutal sell downs. No joke, man. No joke. No freaking joke. Peter, have a great one, man. Thanks for tuning in. Pivot point is now resistance. Now they can't even position above the pivot point. Oh, great balls of fire here. Wow, Trump has drafted a letter to fire the Fed chair. All right, so it's in play. I'm toast today. This is what you get for being silly. This is not bouncing today. Not when they're firing Powell. All right. Powell, Powell, Powell. Why'd you have to get fired today? Killed me. I came close to recovering, and you killed me. All right, guys, I'm about to end the misery here. No bounce. Market's crashing. And I paid dearly. Unbelievable. All right, I ended the misery. Thanks for tuning in. That's a clear example of tilt and what not to do in trading. Just deleted a good 2 days, 2 weeks of work right there. Great balls of fire. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a good one. And it is what it is. It's tilt. That's the hardest part of trading, accepting a small loss and not letting it turn into this. I'll see you guys all tomorrow. Have a good one.